woman's beauty has many shades. Shades of Glam explores the many shades of you. From your beauty to your pain, your joy, and your power. When women get together, it's powerful. Join us for Shades of Glam, an exciting show on Agape Radio, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Remember, that's Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Hey everyone, welcome to Shades of Glam. I'm Jeanette McDonald.
I'm Pam Cromwell.
And we are
Shades of Glam.
Well, we're so happy to have you back on our show. And tonight's show, we're going to actually talk about how do we ask now. We want to really talk about, I guess, conversation etiquette when it comes to very challenging conversations, let's say, on how to address certain things like talk to someone that's either being abused or going through a very difficult time, how to address someone that may be ill, let's say, that you're not really sure how to address it with that person, and maybe even certain, esoteric kind of controversy, having an affair. Ooh. That's pretty juicy. But yeah, let's actually talk a little bit about this. But one of the things we want to encourage tonight is we're going to open up the conversation with you. So you'll see actually on the website right now the ability to get in line. We want you to actually on the page, click get in line so that we'll talk to you in just a little while. Right now, let's actually talk a little bit about our first topic. So I think I wanted to kind of address, since this is kind of close to my heart, how do you address something when you know someone is being abused? I think one of the things that you have to really be careful with is just how to really talk to someone when it comes to that, because really people don't like to share, their business out there. And I think a lot of times what you want to just see, what are the telltale signs that something is going on?
But I get that, but I think there's also the boundaries, right? We don't want to influence privacy because, we live these lives, we work so hard, I don't want to consider a facade, but I think a lot of times that is that one piece that keeps people together, is making sure that people think everything is okay, even when it's not. So it's a little touchy when it comes to something like that. So what are signs that people would have to look for?
And I think one of the things you can look at is if you see someone that's normally a very vibrant person, and then they start reverting back to being very withdrawn, that might be something to watch out for.
But that could also be depression.
It can be, and that's kind of an indicator of any kind of other problem that they're dealing with. Sometimes some of the other signs may be that you can see actually physical signs, where they could be, if you see marks anywhere, and if you do ask them, how did that happen? Start to see a lot of excuses coming out, like, oh, I fell down, oh, I banged myself into the door, and they don't really sound too convincing. That might be something that you have to watch out for.
But with all the help that there is out there for domestic abuse, we talk about it, we have support groups, we march for it. Why would it be something that, and I know it's a privacy issue, like I myself, but if with all the opportunities to talk about it now, like closed door conversation, you didn't do it. Like you had to keep that to your grave, no matter how much was going on. I know my mom, her family definitely grew up in that type of environment.
As I did.
But at the same time, and nowadays, if someone's not saying something and being vocal about it, should we take that as a sign not to get involved, that they're not ready? Because at the end of the day, they have to be ready.
Well, that's the truth. And I think a lot of times, coming out to somebody and saying, do you have this problem can, make someone put the walls up, in a big way. Sure. I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
But I find that when you talk with someone, just shooting the breeze and letting them feel comfortable with you, you'll start to see the walls come down slowly. So it's not that you're asking probing questions, but you're going to have to try and read between the lines.
True.
When they're talking to you. That takes finesse. And in a society today where everybody in business and everybody can talk bad about you, they're doing bullying on Facebook, on Twitter. Heck, you watch the news. I watch CNN. Sometimes they are brutal on there on some of the questions.
Hey, let's not even talk about the award shows.
Oh no, let's not even talk about the award shows. Oh my word. So the last thing that they want is a concerned person really getting up all in your grill. You really want to just let people be themselves with you. And sometimes that will open the opportunity for them to talk a little here and there in terms of them opening up about what's going on.
Well, there's also the other thing about, sometimes with the best intentions, we don't want to come across fake.
Well, that's true.
Because you want to get through, so you have the best intentions. You may have gone to church or you've heard something motivational. You're like, I'm going to help the next person I see. Right. And then you almost force yourself in there, and you're not doing it for them. You're actually doing it for yourself. So, and that's really easy to kind of read when someone is not doing things for the right reasons.
True.
That will turn me off in a heartbeat.
That's right.
So it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that it's not coming off in a disingenuous way, and that you have to be very sensitive to the other person. And the best thing to really do is watch the body language. I think when people really start to kind of, their eyes are diverting every which way, like, where's that trap door that I can leave? Good sign, you need to stop. Stop talking. And just letting that person know, if you want to talk to me anytime about whatever's, then that allows people to really say, you know what, that's somebody that I can trust. And the other piece, too, is if you think you know something, don't go sharing that with everybody else.
Oh, mercy.
Girl, I think, I don't really know for sure, but I think.
It's called coffee talk.
It's called coffee talk. Keep it to yourself, okay? Don't do that. Don't go to the water cooler and start trying to get an intervention. I want to do interventions. That's just not always a good thing.
No.
What you want to do is, if you suspect something, keep it to yourself and watch that person carefully. Over time, people actually show themselves when they either feel that they're not being watched and they're not on display. And so then you can kind of feel like, okay, I think I understand a little process.
But I think there's another piece to it. One, we're all trying to be amateur psychologists, right?
That's true.
With the Dr. Phil's and the Dr. Oz's.
I love me some Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil's all right. I got no problems with Dr. Phil. But I think the problem is we get so souped when we watch these shows, and
that's true.
We don't know the timeline. And I guess my question is, or that can be it to anyone out there, do you think that there's a timeline of watching somebody reversing and becoming very internal and seeing bruises? You don't want to, when do you jump in? When do you not jump in?
Well, and I think it gets to the point also where if you know that there are children involved, you have to take a stand, because children have no ability to be able to speak up for themselves. Although I gotta say, nowadays kids are pretty.
What I'm about to say? Have you ever seen my godchildren?
I know my godchildren. I know how to call DIFUS. I'm like, really? Really?
I don't even know how to spell that.
I know. I don't even know how to spell that. They know DIFUS. It's like, oh my goodness. But I do find that if there are children, sometimes you do have to take that step to say, listen, are you safe? Are the kids safe?
So, I mean, I guess then, before going forward with this, I think, to what I was saying before, or trying to say, I think you have to make a very educated decision before going forward. Because true. To your point, with kids, that means they're going into the system.
That's right.
And nobody wants a child to have to live in the system, because the system is not a good place to be.
No, it's not.
So you sometimes do more damage to them trying to save them.
That's right.
And by having them live in the system. So is there anything so for myself, I saw it in a past generation of abuse, right? Sure. I haven't lived through it with anyone directly.
Sure.
But what would I do if I see somebody? How would I know when to pull the trigger, even with children?
Well, I think one of the things, and I can talk about this on a personal level, that when my mom was going through stuff, one of the things that she did a lot of times was she would try and talk to family members about it. Like she would actually open up a little bit to the family members, and most family members would say,
I don't want to know.
Yeah, you made your bed, you lie in it.
Ooh.
Which is pretty tough. So if someone does open up to you about, or if you suspect, now you want to actually approach that person to say, is there something wrong? And that person does say, yeah, there's something wrong. The best thing that you can really do with that person is, one, listen. And then really, two, is help them make a plan. Because I got to tell you, I think the best test case, and I know this isn't for everybody, but and I say this all the time, Katie Holmes is probably the poster child for actually making a plan and sticking to it. No. She, because to get away from Tom Cruise as one of the most powerful men in entertainment, she had a very close-knit, and they had, she had her own cell phone set up. Her father is a lawyer. She had, only a few close-knit people knew what was going on. She already had her secondary housing set up. Now, most of us don't have that as an option.
No.
But there are things that you can do in the interim to help someone make a plan. So such as, do you have your own bank account?
But that should happen. So
Sure.
I see a lot of married couples who's like, oh, we're only going to have one account. But you each make your own income. Well, I mean, and I'm talking about the 2-family homes.
Sure.
I feel like you should put your bills together. Of course, you want to make sure everything's paid, but you each need play money.
Oh, absolutely.
You shouldn't have to be feeling bad if you want to get a manicure, male or female. You shouldn't have to explain. I would say I have my best friend and her husband, they actually have a deal where as long as it's under a certain money amount, I think it's like $100 to $200, they can basically do whatever.
Okay.
So it should almost be natural that today's society, you should have your own bank account anyway.
And if you don't, because this is one of the issues that have with many abused women, is that they don't have anything of their own.
Right. They've lost their identity.
They've lost their identity. Whole other topic, which we'll get to one night. We will do that. But I think one of the things that we want to do is ensure that they are making a plan, that they are putting money aside to be able to, if they have to get another apartment or they have to, flee somewhere else, that they're doing that. Because everything takes time. It's not just, I'm going to leave right now.
Right.
Because when I used with many domestic violence victims, one of the biggest obstacle was, I'm starting all over. No one wants to start over. Do you know how long it took me to get all of these things? And what I try to tell women in these situations is, it's just things.
Yeah.
Things can be replaced.
Absolutely. Life or
cannot.
Things, right. Nor can your child.
Nor can your child. And it's very empowering for a child to see that when you are going through this kind of issue, that a child can see, wow, I don't put up with this kind of stuff. We move together as a family and move past this.
Right.
So I think, always having a plan and working that plan is very important. And let's actually, let's open this up a little bit to our folks out there. So let's go to actually our first person.
Ooh, someone got in line.
So let's see if we can talk to somebody who's getting in line at 4 and 1. Hello out there.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I can't hear you. But let's see if we can hear you. Oh, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes.
We can hear you.
Perfect. Hi, my name is Carolyn.
Awesome. So tell me your name and where you're from.
My name is Carolyn, and I'm calling from Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn. There's a good mall out there.
Yes, there is.
So tell us what you...
Well, you've actually been talking about more serious conversations of how and when to approach someone about a serious situation, but I was thinking more along the lines of something lighter, more of a how and when do you tell someone if they have a fashion faux pas, for instance, if they're wearing their clothing in out.
There's something between their teeth, right?
If they have a split in the back of their pants. As someone who has had these things happen to me, I like for someone to tell me immediately. I'd like for someone to tell me immediately that this is going on, and yet I find it very difficult to tell someone else that they have this problem. So how do I tell someone else, and when do I tell someone else?
Thank you very much. Thank you. So this is
some really good points, and honestly, that's all happened to me.
Happened to you
many times.
And what happened?
I have to say, the first thing is it's about respect.
Yes.
And I think when you put yourself in the situation of that other, you want to be told as soon as possible, because you're trying to make an impression. Regardless of what you're doing,
okay.
You always have to put yourself in that other person's shoes. And if you want to be warned, you gotta warn the other person. And there's subtle ways of doing it. I always keep an extra sweater at my job, behind my chair, and it's just for accidents. Okay, for anyone who's watching, you don't know my secret. But honestly, it really is. It's just for accidents. So what I do is, what I have done is I've actually left it on the back of that person's chair. And I was like, you might want to use it.
Really?
I think
that's pretty subtle. I like that idea. As for the split pants piece, okay.
I'm just saying.
What about this is always like a pet peeve of a friend of mine, because she always telling me, well, you didn't tell me I have something like coming out of my nose. And I was like, what? I like it with, like talking to me.
Ew.
I do funny stuff like that, but honestly, sometimes you can do like the facial expressions of, like that.
Yeah.
or trying to do like the sign language, like.
I've texted somebody.
Great idea.
Technology. That's what you do.
Actually, that's good.
You want to talk about subtle?
That's actually very subtle. I like the idea of it. I never thought of that.
See?
Wow.
Because I'm thinking, how many people don't put their phone down? They always have it quickly like this, like a, like, what is it? When is it? Quick draw, McGraw. So if you text them, then it's only you and them in this conversation. So why not? Win-win.
That is
very
funny.
true.
Is that good, Carolyn? Do you like that?
That was very good. I hadn't thought about the texting thing. Excellent.
Thank you. I should trademark that.
You should trademark that. I think we should do that. Well, Carolyn, thanks for calling for getting in line.
Hopefully we'll see you at the mall.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, definitely. Bye-bye.
Right, bye.
Bye.
And let's actually take another guest. So let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to Shades of Glam. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Good. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Denise. I'm calling from Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Hey. Awesome. Well, what's your question for us?
Well, since the topic has turned lighter, I had a light comment to make as well. As you can see, I'm a light girl, but I used to perm my hair. I used to weave my hair, and I have two things that are pet peeves for me. When I was straight and perming and weaving, people would always ask me whether it was my hair. And people would come up and touch my hair, and it's disconcerting when a stranger wants to just come over and see how far your curls ping, and it's just, what do you say to people like that?
May I?
I think you should. I think it's all you at this point. Go for it, girl.
Okay. So I hate ethnicity card.
Well, why not? Let's just
pull the card. We pulled it. I personally know that I feel like when someone has a good weave, you want to replicate that in your own life. So a lot of times we ask others because we just want to be able to do that at home or make our hairstylist do it. So I know the thing is that, and I actually take it as a compliment because I would hope that they're only asking if it was a good one, but they could be asking if it was a bad one, so they don't go to that salon too. But I'm saying, I always personally took it as a compliment because, and you probably looked fantastic. And if someone had the courage to ask you, that was their way of saying, I really want to replicate that at home.
That's fair. That's fair. And
just saying.
You know, listen, I get people, not because I wear a weave, but this is not my natural hair color. I have no problem telling anybody that. Why? Because you can actually see the gray coming in through right now. No, yes, I did. Yes, I did. But, you know, really it's time for me to actually get it up. But I have had people, you know, say to me, is that your real hair color when I first get it done? And, well, no. And so then they ask me, well, what color is it? And no, because I really, there's 5 colors in here. I don't know what makes this color. It doesn't really occur in nature. It occurs in a bottle. But I'm very happy to share. I think it's Revlon, 12 shades of Revlon. But I am very happy to say, yes, this is not my hair color.
But you're an open person, though.
Well, I am. I really don't care. Yeah, that's kind of true.
But honestly, I think sometimes there's a way to do things, and I think that there's people who go right up in your hair in a crowd of people and like, what's going on with that? No, those people too. I have them in my family.
Really?
I think if you want to give a compliment, and this is not to you, but this is people that you've dealt with, what they should have done is either pull you to the side and, you know, and ask you in a quiet way.
Yes.
You don't need to be in someone's hair to give them a compliment. We don't try to pull someone's clothes off when we want to give you a compliment about your clothing. No, but they should.
They should know. No, I agree. You don't go up to strangers and want to just like, can I touch your hair? You know, it's very strange. But sometimes people do that. I have heard that's the case. Have you experienced it, that people just want to come up and touch you?
Yeah. Oh, your hair is so pretty. I just before I can say anything, they have a handful of hair. It's really an invasion of personal space.
No. The rule is you should never touch anyone's hair. Any ethnicity, you shouldn't touch anyone's hair.
That's true.
You just shouldn't do it. I think it's a no-no, and you've been dealing with are people, they just got issues. And so we just keep on going.
And that's why we did this show.
Don't get in their hair, don't touch their hair.
Don't try to make it stringy. Don't do that.
No.
But thank you very much. And come back to Shades of Glam.
Will do.
Bye. Bye, Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn. Wow, that's something else. You know, people just have no sense.
Well, there's no couth.
Yeah, that's true. There is no couth.
That's just crazy talk.
Is that like a 70s thing? After 1970, everybody lost their couth? What happened?
I like that word couth, though. You have no couth.
You have no.
Both ladies who just spoke, you know, what they're talking about. The split pants, I think we have to put it in categories too, right? Yeah. So even with an abusive situation. Okay, pants and abusive situation not be in the same category.
Granted.
But you understand that the fact is there was a problem, and it needed a solution. Versus someone who is admiring and not having proper boundaries. Those are two different situations.
Oceans of difference. Whoa. But that, you know, and people, we used to say the term common sense.
Ooh.
I'm finding that is...
Wait. If common sense was common, everyone would have it.
And that's a problem. Nobody else has common sense. You are just full of those tonight.
I got cliches after the cliches.
Yin yang. That's wonderful. Oh my goodness.
I have a book on cliches.
Do you really?
Yeah. I used to mess them up all the time. Like I used to make them backwards.
Is that right?
So I had an old boss who got so disgusted that he bought me a book of cliches and told me you're not allowed to reference words until you look in that book first. I don't know if that was an insult or not. actually, that goes into what we're talking about today. Because
Yes,
maybe he didn't need to tell me I said it wrong. He knew what I meant. Sweet.
You know, he's helping you out. That's what but that was his subtle way of, well, maybe not so subtle.
Not so subtle, but I actually took it as a compliment that he cared enough to go find me a book.
Yeah, you know what? That's true, because he would have kept you doing all these kind of silly cliches. What the heck is this woman talking about?
So I took the compliment.
All right, so let's talk about something a little more dicey.
Ooh, dicey.
Well, this is all kind of dicey, but so let's say you know that your friend's significant other, spouse, or whatever is having an affair. What do you say? What do you do?
Your face just, I think my face just said it all.
What do you think?
That's a hard one because okay, let's put some boundaries into the situation.
Yes.
Do I know both people?
Sure, yeah. You know,
am I close to both people?
No. Let's say that you're not close. You may be close to one versus the other.
Have I known them the same amount of time and just managed to get close to one and not the
Well, it could be either of those things. So I guess we have to kind of deconstruct it.
I wish I could say a blanket statement on that, but I think there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle.
There are a lot of pieces, and I'm of the Dr. Phil school.
Dr. Phil, if you're out there, I think this girl got a crush on you.
That head, that whole head. That and the southern accent, he gets me every time. No, I think he mentions that, sometimes that's something you just got to leave alone.
In all situations?
Yeah, because in truth be told, even though you may know one of the parties and the party may be close to you, it's really between the two of them. You could have videotape, you could have audio tape, you could have all the evidence in the world. If you present it to the one that's the offended party, know that that's probably going to be a tough backlash you're going to take.
Right. Well, that's denial too.
It is denial, and you're also going to have to be prepared that, this person may have to go through a couple of reiterations to be ready to leave. Because just because I presented the evidence to you doesn't mean that I'm ready to go. Now you've done this, now you're kind of being seen as a troublemaker.
Right. No, you're right.
And it's tough, I know. Because I've been there. I've been the one cheated on, and I've been the one that I've observed the cheating of someone. It's really not a pleasant situation.
Wait, so you said you were in a situation that you were cheated on.
Yes.
Did your friends know?
No. Well, no. However, my mother-in-law knew.
Ooh.
And my mother-in-law was the one who told me.
Oh.
Yeah, my mother-in-law was the one. She did me the solid. She really did.
You like this one? Do you talk to her now?
Actually, I don't talk to her anymore because the divorce has been a couple of years from now. But she did me good in at least setting me to rights, because I wasn't. The veil was starting to the.
You needed the final
reaffirmation, yes, of it. So she did let me know.
But you were in the right phase of it.
Yeah, I was in the right phase because I was already suspecting.
Oh.
So had she told me right at the beginning, I was not ready.
Do you think you would have just thought she was a meddling mother-in-law?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
So you didn't do the shopping together?
We didn't do the shopping together. Well, she lived in Florida and I lived in New Jersey, so we couldn't do the shopping together. But I knew at the time when it was first starting that I wasn't ready to listen to anything. And then when it was presented to me, it was like, and I tried to make it work, and so you kind of go through these reiterations. And she wanted me to stay with her son.
Even after she found?
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
no.
So I wanted to, at least make it work and the like, but in the end, it was open.
Ooh.
And then I've also been the one that I've known that someone was cheating on someone else.
Did you tell?
I did not.
Ooh.
I did not tell, but
Ooh.
I just basically said that I don't like this particular person, and that was my only way of kind of saying, maybe you need to look at this a little bit further.
So you gave them hints.
I gave them hints.
Okay, I think hinting is good.
You just got to be subtle with the hints.
Subtle hints.
Just subtle kind of hints. I just like, are you happy in the relationship?
I don't know. That's not subtle. That's no hint.
No, but I want to make sure that people are happy when they're in a relationship. Are things good? Like, how are things?
I want the Band-Aid pulled off.
You want the Band-Aid pulled off?
Pull that thing off. Tell me.
Tell you.
I don't want to waste any more of my time.
Really?
Well, I'm just saying. I can't say from experience, so
That's good. That's so good that you haven't had.
I'm willing to admit that, and I won't have that experience, and you know who I'm talking to.
Ooh, hello.
But no, but seriously, I feel like you put so much energy and time in a relationship, right?
Yes.
And you're invested.
Yes.
And the fact that that person is like, and let's just use it, and since I use investment, let's talk about money. It's like someone taking your account and just running away with it, right? Your account equals your heart. You see how
That's
I'm
true.
going with that?
I saw that.
I don't know. I just feel like you robbed me. I need to know.
I agree. I agree.
Shoot.
I agree. And I think that, if you ever want to, set up evidence for that person, if you just
yes, I would get a PI.
You would get a that's
or I would become my own PI. There was a woman who did that. I saw it on a Lifetime movie once. I'm trying to remember which one.
Honey, if you ever want me to be a PI, I am a darn good PI. Let me tell you something, my ex-husband didn't see it coming.
How about we start another business?
Or how about we take our next fan, because we actually have someone on the line too. Let's actually bring our next person up, because we'd like to hear from you. In 3, 2. I love this. I can actually watch the graphic coming up.
Ooh.
And welcome.
Hello.
I know who that is. That's Dr. Marcia. How you doing, Dr. Marcia?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing so fine. I'm enjoying this crazy conversation. It's great.
What's crazy, Dr. Marcia?
It's crazy. But I know you were talking about if someone is having an affair, which you tell, and of course you decided to involve, so to speak. However, what if that person was having an affair and that person had a disease?
Ooh. I read a book on that.
Right. Ooh. What would you say?
Well, this is dangerous territory now. I read this book, and it was about men who cheat on their wives, and they bring home special gifts, which aren't nice.
Yes.
And I don't know.
That's what you want to call
I don't know if you can. I don't know if it makes this worse or not, because you don't know that they're carrying a disease. You know what I mean? Like, as the friend, I don't know if he has a disease. I know what he's doing.
You know for a fact that this person has a disease. But if you know that this person has a disease, you actually know.
If you know they have a disease.
You know.
Then you take out an ad, full page ad, and you say that they have a disease and don't mess with this person. I'm just saying. You gotta make sure all women are warned at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if it's a health and safety issue, then you need to really get involved, and you're going to have to be prepared for the lumps that come as a result of it, but with the spirit of knowing, look, I'm trying to help make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
In the same vein, like, I'm going to kind of switch this a little bit, because I'm going to come back to this, but, I heard an argument happening in my building one time, and the argument was crescendoing to the point where I was very nervous.
You thought she was abusive?
Yeah, and it was really scary. I called the cops.
Okay.
And normally I don't really want to do that, but I don't want it to be like a Kitty Genovese kind of thing where, I heard what was going on, and, oh well.
And you didn't do anything.
And I think my neighbors knew that I called the cops, and they have never talked to me again. They've looked at me cross-eyed, but I can hold my head up high saying, you know what? I don't know what was going to happen that night, but I still have the advantage of seeing you today.
The right thing.
And so that's why in a case like this, if you know that this person is doing stuff on the DL that is not cool, No bueno, as you like to say. No
No
bueno.
bueno.
No bueno.
But honestly, that's like I mean, okay, I don't want to know if this is making it sensationalizing it, but isn't that almost like a little bit of a secondary murder when you put giving someone, or what is that? Isn't there a term for that legally when you're giving someone a sickness, knowing that you're doing that?
Well, it depends on the sickness. If it is AIDS, HIV, that's one thing. If it's if it's herpes, gonorrhea, kind of the other thing, that's a little different because most of that can be treated.
Got it.
But yeah, in terms of HIV, I think there is. If you know that you're ill and you're doing that, then you're culpable.
Then let's go get them.
Then let's go.
I still think the ad thing works.
But you try to approach the guilty party initially, but you try to approach the guilty party initially before and let that person know that you need to stop this, or at least be honest about this disease before you tell the other person, or would you just go straight to the other person?
I would I'd go straight to the other person, because at that point, they've had many moons to do the right thing.
Right.
If they were going to do the right thing, they would have done the right thing.
Exactly.
And at this point, you don't want them to do the right thing because they're scared, right?
That's right.
So I would you lost your chance.
It's done.
Done. That's for the Brooklyn girls.
That's exactly right. Brooklyn girls out there. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Dr. Marcy. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, if I do, I will get in line.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, you know what? We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a lot more to talk about on Shades of Glam. So, wow, you want to take an ad out? That is something else.
Listen, I'm saying you can do Craigslist. It's free.
You know what? I'm frightened right now. What to do with you?
I'm just saying.
I know you were just saying. I'm just saying, and I'm just saying. You're just saying.
I think it's the quickest way to get my message out there.
Right. Just do it all
in one shot.
All in one shot. Craigslist. Watch out for this one.
I'm just saying. Don't let me see something.
When you see something, say something.
It says it on the subway.
Don't say that on the subway.
I got the law behind me.
You're very scary with the law behind you.
It's not my fault.
I know. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So.
And okay.
Nah, I guess I've been learning a lot.
Okay.
Wow, that's a good first segment. Huh?
That's a first. I think we've got. Hey everyone, welcome back
to Shades of Glam. I want to be the one to say the Shades of Glam.
All right, well then you can be the one that says the Shades of Glam.
Shades of Glam.
There you go.
Like my deep voice?
I like the deep voice.
Thank
That's
you.
working.
Thank you.
So let's talk about another touchy subject.
Oh, gee.
All right.
I don't know if I recovered over the last two.
All right, so let's talk about pregnancy.
Oh.
Let's talk about pregnancy.
Oh, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, right? Because it's very hard to address a woman whether, you know, she's gaining weight because she's gaining weight or because she's with child. And
I don't even know we should go further on this one.
Why?
Because, okay, so it's not about pregnancy.
No.
It's about weight. That's what this is about. This is not about pregnancy. No sugarcoat.
No
It's
sugarcoat.
about people that sometimes have the way their body is shaped.
That's true.
They have an extra lump.
That,
You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's right.
And it's rounded. I've seen people
I've seen
rounded
it. I've
that
seen
look
it.
like 3 to
Yes.
4 months, and they were not pregnant.
They were not pregnant, I know.
And I've seen people hurt their feelings because they had asked, because it was, you know, normally you can tell, but when it's formed,
Yes.
it gets
Very
dangerous. So you don't ask.
Yeah, just
How about that?
don't ask. Don't tell
ask.
nothing. Don't even ask anyone about it. Just leave it alone
And
until
don't touch the belly either.
And don't touch the belly.
Unless
You know,
they give permission.
You have to ask permission to touch the belly.
Yes.
And really, you know, I've talked to some women about it, and they're like, you know, we don't even like it when you ask permission to touch the belly, because it's kind of like, you know, that's very intimate. Normally, the people who touch the belly is the baby's father,
Right. And godmother.
and godmother, and godmummies, and daddies, or close family members. But if we're working together, because I have done this, I've done a faux pas on this. I kind of just stare at the belly, like it's Buddha, and I want to touch it. It's kind of like I want to touch it. I'm like, look at my hands, like I want to touch the belly, but
There's
I don't.
nothing in this belly.
But I
just so
don't
you
touch.
know.
She doesn't have a belly. But I'm saying, you know, like if you had a belly, then I'd want to touch it. But I know I put my hands down and I back away from the belly, and I just, you know, I admire the belly. And then usually I'm hoping that the mother says, "Do you want to touch it?"
Yes.
Then I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm a reformed belly toucher.
Yeah, are you?
I say I'm reformed, but I'm on the edge because I think the belly is beautiful
Yes.
when
yes.
there is something else in that belly.
Right.
And that's key.
That's right.
Right.
That's gotta be
And I think sometimes, you know, it goes back about being very well-meaning.
Yes,
But we all know weight is sensitive.
it is.
So you don't, even if you wonder, the best rule of thumb is just don't ever ask anyone if they're pregnant, and do not touch the belly unless you've been given explicit instructions that it's okay.
That is very, very true. Very good advice for belly touching.
Yes.
And the like. Now, what about, let's say, if you know that someone is ill?
Ooh, I'm familiar with this one.
You're familiar with this one. So how do you feel about people even addressing anything like that with you or talking with you about it?
Well, for those of you who don't know my backstory, I am a stage 4 metastatic breast cancer patient. I am not in remission. I am a patient. And that is a very slippery slope because, you know, I struggle myself with wanting to, you know, I'm proud of being a cancer fighter.
Okay.
But I do not want sympathy. So I want people to understand that there are days that I can't get up and go to work, go to the office. It's not that I can't go to work. I just can't handle the commute, dealing with people who are coughing and all over the place, because you know people have no couth. Once again, I love that word. And in the buses and the subways, people are very disgusting. And what they don't understand is the fact that they're not taking care of themselves and not using proper covering your mouth or wiping your hands or hand sanitizer, that when I get sick, it takes me 3 to 4 weeks on a common cold that someone would take about 2 to 3 days because my immune system is low. Hence, I'm sick.
Wow.
So sometimes I've actually worked from home just because I know it's like, or I see other people at my office, they might be getting sick because I'm scared. Because people don't remember to do the basic things about even washing their hands. We can go on. That's a whole other show.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. Yeah.
But I think in general, for myself, I like when people ask.
You do.
I do, but I know this is going to sound bad because I feel like I keep putting stipulations on things. You can ask, but you can't do this.
Okay.
But I want you to ask with common sense, and we've already talked about establishing common sense, that if it was common, everyone would have it. Because, one day I was actually asked if cancer was contagious. So, that to me was a very interesting question. I did not roll my eyes because if they asked it, and they did ask it in sincerity, that's what made me sad that an adult asked me that question. But I think the part of it is that I want people asking me because they want to make sure I'm okay.
Right.
Not because they want to go and gossip about how I am, or, oh, wait a minute, we saw her weak, or we saw her not looking good, that must be wrong. Because the other side of it is that it doesn't matter what's going on with me. Everybody wants to assume it's my cancer, right? So I get a cold, it must be the cancer. I stub my toe, it's the cancer. So it's hard because of the fact that everybody wants to associate everything with cancer because I'm very open about my condition.
Sure.
And so it's a really slippery slope. So for example, I go to treatment once a month.
Right.
And when I come back for treatment, I actually appreciate coworkers that come up to me and say, "How did it go?"
Good.
Because what it does for me, it makes me feel like I'm not hidden.
Right.
That there's nothing wrong with me. Because when you hide things, it makes you feel like you did something wrong.
Right.
And I don't want to feel like it's my fault I've had cancer. I'm sure some people may want to believe that, or however, everyone's got their thought process on things. But and that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
We got plenty of shows.
We got plenty of shows coming
on Agape Radio. But I mean, I think the most important thing, there's a fine line, and with everything that we talked about, it really takes tact. And when in doubt, don't do anything. Because you have a higher probability of offending somebody.
Yes.
And without meaning to.
Yes.
And I know that people have offended me.
Without even trying. And I think a lot of times, not our studio audience. No one has ever offended me in a studio audience. But I think sometimes not asking me, it offends me because it makes me feel like, if I had a cold and I was if I was at home and I came back, you would say, "How you doing?" Right.
Because I'm not at work and I'm working from home or I had treatment, why can't you give me that same courtesy? It's still an appointment. I still want people to care.
Sure.
I just don't want it to be used as something as a negative thing. I don't want to be considered like I have a disability. I don't want to be looked at that I can't carry out my job.
Sure.
Because I can do all those things. But I just want someone to be like, as a human being, one human being to another,
yes,
have some concern.
That's right.
Shoot.
Everybody likes concern.
If you got your toes pulled out, I would be like, "Hey, how you feeling?"
Really?
Well, yeah. It hurts.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
Okay, I appreciate that.
No, but on another side of it, so in my earlier journey, I went through chemo. As we all know, chemo takes your hair out, and as a Black woman, that is not a good thing. Because I didn't know that when they say your hair is out, that means your nose hair, that means your eyebrows. I didn't know.
All that hair.
I knew that I could sit at a meeting and my nose would just flow because there was no hair to keep anything in. It wasn't cute.
I'm sorry, that's not funny.
It wasn't cute. But you know what? I would have appreciated the room laughing when I become a human faucet than acting like it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
You're killing
me.
You're killing me.
But these are the things. Like I learned how to wear makeup because of chemo. Because I did not want someone to ask me, "Are you going through chemo?" Like, I didn't want anyone to assume. I think I mentioned this story last time, or maybe I didn't. I tell so many stories I never remember when.
Tell it again.
But I was going to high school with somebody who lost all of his hair. He just went completely bald at the age of 17.
Sure.
And everybody assumed it was like he had leukemia. He didn't.
Oh, wow.
He didn't. And it's life is life. His hair never grew back.
Oh.
And I know he really struggled because it wasn't that he was like, oh, no, I don't want to be associated with a cancer patient. He didn't want someone to look at him and think that there was something wrong. And that's what we do. Whenever someone looks a little different, it's not because of concern. It's not because we don't want to help. We want to help them. It's because we want to talk about them. And I think that is the fine line with everything that we talked about. It just keeps going back to, where is your heart?
That's right.
Are you there because you really want to help that person get through what you see them and you have that compassion, you want to help them? Or is it because you just want another story? Because I had people do that too. I had people trying to figure out what was wrong with me, because when I first was diagnosed, I didn't publish it to the world.
Sure.
It wasn't that I was ashamed. It's just I knew that there's so much gossip mills out there that people just wanted to be in my business and they could care less about me.
Agreed.
So I think with everything that we talked about, that's the danger. So that's why my advice is, if you feel uncomfortable, don't do anything.
That's right.
Just keep on going straight.
That's right.
Unless maybe you can talk to somebody else who might be close and talk to them in a good way to be like, maybe you should talk to them. Right. Because I've done that too. And I don't know if that's a bad thing, where I didn't feel like I was the person of authority to go speak to that person. So I went to their next best friend.
And that's fair. And I think
I don't know. I didn't want to come across with a gossip, but I was like, you might need to step into this situation.
And I think that's the key thing that you brought up, that where is your heart in this issue? Yes. Because really, if you're just doing it to get accolades, or if you're just doing it to make sure that you want to show that you're concerned, don't. Yes. Please, don't even bother.
Yes.
But if it's truly coming from here, then it will be the right action, because you're being actually drawn by a different force.
Right.
And that's, that's the force from God really saying, hey, you know what, reach out to this person.
Right.
Otherwise, just leave it alone. leave it all alone. But this was great. This was great. I thought it was a pretty good show today. And let's actually recap.
Okay.
Okay. So number one, when it comes to affairs, just be careful. Even if you have videotape, what happened? Just be careful about, if you want to
pull the Band-Aid.
Well, this one's saying pull the Band-Aid. I'm saying just be careful. But if someone's safety is involved, you definitely want to make sure that you are getting involved. Also that.
Split pants.
Split pants. So, sometimes you can do something very subtle, like as Pam mentioned, putting a sweater around something that you might want to use that. Texting is fabulous. I really think that's great. Who does not have a phone lately?
Always on.
And you can text it and say, your fly is open. Close it. You can do that. And it's like, no, seriously, I'm not kidding.
Like, I'm not kidding you.
I see London, I see France, I see your underpants. Don't do that. And let's see, we were talking about hair.
Oh yes.
And
but that could go different things. I think I think we divided the categories. So the first thing is to all of you, just to everybody out there, don't touch someone else's hair.
That's true.
Just don't do it.
Just don't
do it. It's a very safer way not to do it. In some places, that's a sign to start a fight.
Yeah, and Caucasian people, listen to me very carefully.
Notice how she said that?
Caucasian people. Don't touch a black woman's hair. I'm telling you right now.
Wait, you say we're going to fight?
I'm just saying that it's not cool. It's no bueno. No bueno. I see, no bueno.
But on the flip side.
On the flip side.
Oh, no.
Why are you going to flip it for? What?
On the flip side, it also is a compliment.
Yes.
We can take things with kindness, with the fact that if someone is taking the time to ask us about where we're getting our hair done, it may not be on an attack. It may be in a positive way, but going back to personal boundaries, we need to have them.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh no! Is it another black woman
no,
thing?
It actually is.
Let's talk to the black women now.
You know, Caucasian people are always confused about black women's hair because one day it'll be short, and the next day it'll be like long.
Wait, no.
And then
Jessica Simpson and this other girl, Paris Hilton, has breaking the boundaries for us.
That was within the last 5 years. Prior to
there was wigs. Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes, but Elizabeth Taylor had maybe like a horsetail thing, which was like, you know, she'd wear the ponytail.
Mercy.
But beyond that, most Caucasian, this always happened all the time. I would watch, and they would say to one of my friends, like, I am so amazed your hair grew so quick.
Wait. I can top that.
Oh, no, you can't.
I can top that.
Right.
Okay. Whitney Houston, God rest her soul. She came out, and, you know, her hair was long, but it was always, like, curly.
Yes.
Right? So I remember being in school and having debate in elementary school if black women could have long hair. I kid you not.
That was great.
I kid you not. It was a debate. It was like a discussion with kids, middle school kids. Can black women grow long hair? Because everyone they saw on TV they thought was short hair. Until Whitney Houston and Janet Jackson and then more of them kind of came out. And it wasn't that it was longer, it's that they just straightened it.
That's right.
And a lot of people just didn't get the concept of curly hair. It's really skinny. Straight hair is long. Oh, mercy.
That's true. There you go. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying
I
that.
had to clarify as a black woman.
I'm just saying that for a lot
of the Caucasian women.
Within the last 5 years, with the advent of Paris Hilton and Jessica Simpson, they came out with their own, and the power of the clip-on. Prior to that, white women were very confused. I'm telling you right now, that's very true. So I'm just saying, so that what?
Back in the day,
yes.
Back in the day,
how many back in the day?
Like the TCM days. That's a classic movie channel for all of those who don't know.
Yes.
Those women were doing it all the time. It was just for the celebrities, though.
That was true.
So it wasn't for the common people. So now, think about it. The common people now have hair extensions.
Amen to that.
Amen.
You might see one of mine. Mine had one of these here. Watch out. So you know what? Let me tell you what's going on right now. If you want to continue the conversation, because we're getting ready to wrap it up here in lovely Easton, Pennsylvania at Agape Radio, please check us out on our Facebook page, which is Shades of Glam.
Wait, I was going to say the Shades of Glam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Check out our Facebook page on
Shades of Glam.
There you go. And if you're a Twitterverse person that you want to actually Twitter us, our handle is at
Shades of Glam. Like that?
I like it.
Shades of Glam.
And, you know, you can really get a voiceover job doing that.
I would like to.
I will work on that. And finally, if you want to check us out on our website, oh, wow. It is www.shadesofglam.com. There we go. I was waiting for the .com.
I had to put the .com. So that gets all confusing.
So please check us out on any one of those. Continue the conversation there. What we want to tell you a little bit about what's coming up in the next few weeks. We have got the Pink for Pam parties, y'all, and we want to see you there. Not only do we want to see you, we want to see you and your loved one there. Yes. So you have a choice. Actually, you don't even have to choose. If you want to come to New York City, the date of the New York City Pink for Pam is?
October 24th, and it's from 6 to 11 p.m. right in Midtown Manhattan.
Okay. And then if you want to come to the Easton, Pennsylvania Shades of Glam event, it is?
October 26th, right here in downtown Easton at the Siegel Museum.
Awesome. So if you want to get tickets for any one of the events or both of the events, please check out our Shades of Glam website. And you can actually go to the events area and buy tickets there. And just so that you know, we're running a special promotion. If you buy tickets this month, and it's only for September, and you buy tickets for the Easton event.
In New York.
And New York too?
We're opening up to New Yorkers too.
Okay, well then are they getting the swag bag?
They're going to get a swag bag.
You're going to get a swag bag.
With a $200 value.
What?
In that bag.
Can I have one?
If you buy your ticket.
Okay, so in the month of September. In the month of September, if you want to take advantage, you got to go and buy a ticket now. And we want to see you there. Don't make me come after you.
Ooh, she's violent.
Plus, if you sometimes I have Puerto Rican in me. Anyway, so what happened is if you also buy in September and you mention Agape Radio, radio. Is that part of the?
Yeah, that's a separate promotion, and that goes up until the night of the event, because we want to make sure our listeners of Agape Radio get their proper credit. If they put that promo code into the tickets, they get $5 off.
So do that, y'all. I'm telling you right now. Your friends, tell 5 people.
Just 5.
Just 5.
And then 5 people tell 5.
And so on.
And then we have like 100.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's a lot of 5s, though. Yeah. I wasn't good at like the 5 with the little
the
thing.
little thingy.
Was that the power?
Yeah, the exponential.
Oh, snaps.
Oh, snaps, right? So we want to make sure that you're coming to the event, because we want to see you there.
Yes.
And next month, which our next show is on October 16th, Shades of Glam goes pink. In celebration of the Pink for Pam parties that we're going to have. We're going to have a very special Shades of Glam. So we want to, and it'll be dedicated to Pam's work with with Pink for Pam. And so please, it's going to be a really special show. We want to see you there. Tell 5 people, and then they'll tell 5 people, and so on, and so on, and so on. But with that, I want to say thanks for joining, and you are beautiful, y'all. And have a glamorous day.
You were just talking to them?
I'm talking to you too. You know I love you too. But you're glamorous and you're beautiful, and just look at that. Just flip the hair.
I fling it. Now you can fling hair. Before you couldn't fling it. You couldn't move that joint. You left it in one place and you prayed it stayed on.
Is that right?
That's what you used to do. Now you can fling it.
Now you can fling that sucker.
The wind even moves it.
Oh, that is fantastic. I love that. Well, you are all wonderful and beautiful. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time. So tell me more about that stuff.
Wait, with this part?
With that part, yeah, that looks great.
Like that.
keep flipping that side. Like, wow.
I used to be so jealous in school when girls could flip their hair. If I could go back one day.
That's one day. We're going to work on that.
I take my longest wig and wear it.
The longest wig.
Just flip my hair all day.
I flip my hair, flip my hair, flip my hair. It's not a song about it.
So who